Hey there, have you ever had a problem that was so big or so grand you felt like there was little hope, or you didn't have a lot of hope of fixing it, or you felt like the best thing to do was to hide or keep it a secret? Working with a credit union for a number of years and now banks, financial institutions, I've learned a lot of things. And one of the things I learned uh, in collections, that was one of the things I did for 10 plus years. When people are at their very worst, they do desperate things, and there's two things that they do. The more common thing that they do is they try to ignore financial problems, like they'll go away, or they try to hide them. Both of those techniques with dealing for problems are very short-sighted, and the problem doesn't go away, it just gets worse. And let me share an example with you. I enjoyed collection. It was very difficult, but to try to help people through difficult financial situations, I was always of the attitude, let's help. I could be in the same position. If I lost my health, or if something happened to my family and I was not able to pay my bills, I could be in the same position as these people. So that was kind of the attitude I always took. So yeah, it was also very stressful at times. Let me share an example of somebody that I had to work with, and what happened as a result of him. Instead of addressing the problem, he tried to hide his financial problems. So this individual was constantly running at least 2 payments behind, sometimes 3, and I was constantly trying to call him and talk to him. We'd send out notices twice a month saying, hey, you're late. So for example, 60-day late, what does that mean? So let's say, this month being June, it's like 3 payments. So my April payment's past due, my May payment's past due, and my June payment just became due. So the April payment's 60 days past due. It's really serious. And for me personally, when someone hits 60 days past due, it shows up on reports. I've got to go to the board and make a report to them and talk to them about why I haven't done anything, or what's going on, and what's the perspective as far as if we're going to get our money or not. So it was very interesting. I could never get him on the phone. He'd never answer my calls. I'd send emails. Back then, text was a big thing. But yeah, I even tried to call his wife. I couldn't give her a lot of information. All I'd say is, hey, I need to talk to him. It's very important. She would never give me any information. Say, hey, what's a work number I can get him a hold at? Where's he working? What's he doing? She would never tell me any information, other than one day she told me, well, he's working in California now. That made me very nervous, because that means if he moves his family to California, I'd never see that car again, because I don't know where he moved to. So I don't know, was he keeping a secret from his wife, making excuses? The bank's all screwed up. I have made those payments a mistake. Who knows what he was telling her, but I don't know. Obviously he was having financial problems. I don't know why he wasn't calling me. Why wasn't he working through the problem? Maybe it was a pride thing. Maybe he was embarrassed. I can take care of this myself. There's no reason to get anyone else involved. Or maybe, if I ignored this problem, it'll go away. Well, it doesn't go away. Your problems don't go away. They just get worse. He couldn't deal with the problem. He should have reached out to me. He thought his problem would go away. And his wife wasn't helping. It was making it worse. His wife should have encouraged him to call me, to at least make a plan. Let's figure this out. So anyway, a few weeks later, we found out where he went to church and what time. And I had a coworker drive by and said, hey, the car's at the church. So I called the repo people, and they went by and picked up the car from church. And I'm sure he came out from the building and he had to walk home with his family from church because we had taken his car. And do you think that was a little humiliating for him? His kids asking him where the car was. And maybe even people at church were asking him, hey, do you need a ride home? What's going on? And maybe he even said, oh, I don't know. Maybe someone stole my car. Or he probably just didn't say anything. He said, no, we'll just walk. But yeah, the first call he probably made is to the police. Hey, my car's been stolen. But that's the protocol the repo company makes, is after they repossess a car, the first call that they make is to the police department to let them know the car's been repossessed and it's not stolen. So you can imagine the mood he was in Monday morning when I got to the office, and I had 10 voicemails from him. He was not happy. He was very angry. He was very angry that I had taken the car. He was telling me that with a bunch of very colorful language. I don't get it. Why do people get angry when something is taken away that they don't deserve or they're not paying for, or both? What right do they have to demand that you give it back to them? They don't have any right. You know, he was 3 months past due. And possibly, while he was working in California, possibly his family was going to move there. Who knows? So he kept saying, you know, you made me miss my flight. I was supposed to be on a flight to California back to get to work. Now I'm going to lose my job. You know, this is all your fault. If you don't give me my car back in an hour, I've rescheduled my flight. There's going to be big problems. You know, I'm going to call an attorney. You know, all these threats. Are very angry. And I just kept saying, I'm sorry. So what happened? You know, I had lost. He had burned down the bridges. I had no trust this guy would follow through with any of his words. He said, well, if I bring you a check, cashier's check right now for the 3 payments, will you give the car back? I said, no. Pretty harsh. Why would I say that? Like I say, I had no trust. I had to assume that as soon as he paid those 3 payments, he would move the car, move his family. Who knows? I'd never see it again. You know, unfortunately, we are a business, not a charity, and we have to protect our assets, which in this case are the loans we make, and if they're not performing, they have to be recalled. And if you default on a contract, that's the only option. You leave the bank, is they can call the loan due at any time if they feel like that loan is in jeopardy of being paid back. So what happened in the end, his boss actually lent him the money to pay us off in full, the full loan balance. I'm sure that was a very awkward conversation. So by using the tactics he used, it became a huge problem, much worse. You know, if he had called and said, hey, I'm having difficulties, what can you do to help? I would have probably said, hey, yeah, if you can pay 1 payment, let's make a plan for the other 2. Maybe in a couple weeks, make another payment, and I'll skip the 3rd payment. But we kind of have to be assured that, you know, it's not going to happen going forward, and tell me what's going on. And so someone needs to reach out. He should have reached out for help. So what does this have to do with, young man, and some of the problems that you have? Some problems are so big and difficult that you have to reach out for help. If you make them secrets or keep them hidden or ignore them, they only get worse. You know, it's kind of like physical injuries. You know, sometimes, you know, physical injuries, they're not real serious. You could have a cut or bruise. You could have, you know, flu, a cold, a sprain. All of those things, don't require professional help. You don't have to see a doctor for any of those things. But if you have a broken bone, you have a very serious sprain, maybe some deep cuts requiring stitches, heart issues, amputation, you have to get professional help. You can't deal with it on your own. The same thing goes with, big emotional, mental, or financial problems. You've got to reach out. You've got to get help. For example, let's say you're 16 and your girlfriend's pregnant. That's a huge deal, and you need help. There are a lot of people out there that can't have kids. If you decide to adopt out, that might be one of the best options. Abortion's never the option. Let's say you think about suicide a lot. That's a huge problem. You need to reach out for help. Let's say you have a secret life that no one knows about. I'm addicted to porn. I'm addicted to sex. I'm addicted to drugs or alcohol. I'm even addicted to prescription drugs. Those are huge problems. Get help. Don't have a secret life. You need help. What happened to the guy that we repoed his car when he made his problems secret? It got worse. It didn't go away. Reach out to your parents. Reach out to a friend, counselor, a mentor. If you don't have anyone that you can trust, I'll put my email in the description field. You're welcome to reach out to me. We can talk through options, but I don't keep secrets. I'd help you make a plan, what to do, but the best option is always to get help above yourself. Nothing sanitizes things as well as just open air and sunlight. Keeping things hidden and in the dark only promotes further decay, disease, and dysfunction. Get help if you have issues like that.